Hello! Today I'm going to be talking about why I personally do not see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers making the playoffs in 2020. Now, in this video, I will explain why I'm not too confident in the Tampa Bay roster, regardless of the pieces that they've got this offseason. I'm going to talk about their record in relative depth, and I'm going to give a cursory look over the records that I think the other AFC playoff teams will have. Now, it's way too early to judge, but I don't know. This is just my own opinion on what I've seen from kind of a more naive point of view, because I haven't particularly paid much attention to the Buccaneers at all. But first off, let me explain why I'm not confident in their roster. As Urinating Tree put it, Tom Brady last year kind of he started to show that he's reaching the Peyton Manning eclipse of his career. And by that, I mean that, I don't know about Urinating Tree, but I mean that he's a game manager. Or at least last year he was, especially towards the end. I know that the second that you say that, like, you doubt him, he goes and proves you wrong, but he didn't. He didn't will his team to victory against the Titans. He didn't will his team to victory in some pretty easy games, and they were 8-0 at one point. I don't think they reached 9-0, but I mean, they won real dirty in a lot of those games. And personally, I'm not afraid of Tom. I'm not as afraid of Tom Brady as most people are. Then Rob Gronkowski. This is just a matter of personal opinion, but I love the dude. Super cool. I think he's got the injury bug. He's a stellar football player, but injuries get worse with time. And I don't know. He's got glass bones at this point. And I'm not sure how old he is. I know he's in his 30s, I think. But he's getting to the point where I thought he was going to retire last year completely and never play football again, and he decided to come back to play with the Buccaneers now that Tom Brady is in town. But I don't know. I'm not too sold on their roster. Their defense is all right. I know that their defensive line and I think their linebackers are really good. But otherwise, I think that they're just kind of meh on the defensive side of the ball. They've got some good wide receivers, namely Mike Evans. Their running backs are all right. But then you have that offensive line, which has been spotty for 2 years, 3 years, a little while, and it didn't get much better this offseason. Now, I don't know if they will sign some more players for the offensive line, but they need to. They need to protect Tom Brady, and I don't know. Tom Brady always had a really good offensive line, pretty much always had a great offensive line in New England because Bill Belichick knew that was crazy important, but now he doesn't really have that. So I don't know how well he'll be able to perform if he's forced to move instead of just being able to stand still and throw the ball 90% of the time. But those are really my main grievances. So I think that Tom Brady, age is not just a number in the NFL. So I think that he has gotten to the point where he can manage games, but I don't think that he can go and win games. Rob Gronkowski is a little bit too injury prone for my liking. That offensive line is real spotty. And I don't think that their defense is dominant enough to stop a high scoring game from turning in the opponent's favor. Now, I was originally going to give a real in-depth synopsis of their schedule and why I think they'll win and lose certain games, but I think I'm gonna be more simplistic with it and say that I expect them to go 9-7. Now, they could definitely, I think that there's a higher chance of them doing better than doing worse. But in my opinion, I think that with who they play, they're going to go 9-7. Week 1, they're at the Saints. I think the Saints win that game. Week 2, the Panthers, or they have the Panthers at home. I think that they win against the Panthers. Though I think they win against the Broncos in Week 3, and against the Chargers and Bears in Week 4 and 5 respectively. Then I think that they'll lose to the Green Bay Packers. That's another home game. Raiders and Giants are in 7 and 8, and I think that they'll probably win both of those games. I think that there's no chance of them losing to the Giants, but I don't think the Raiders got all that much better over the offseason, so I wouldn't be too afraid of them. Then they have the Saints at home in Week 9 again. I think that the Saints will win, so that's another loss for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then the Panthers are not really all that great this year, so I don't think that they'll split with them. I think that they'll win in Week 10 against the Panthers. Then the Rams, I think I originally wrote them as winning or as losing against the Rams, but I think I got to change and say that they'll win because the Rams got worse this offseason, in my opinion. They lost a lot of pieces, didn't gain very many, and their owner sucks. And I don't know. Sean McVay is a really good head coach, but last year was disastrous. So I think that they'll probably win there. Then I think that the Kansas City Chiefs come into Tampa Bay and win in Week 12. Late bye week. Bye week is 13, so that's pretty good. But then they have the Vikings at home, and I think that I'm just biased because I have a sort of feeling for the Vikings as my dad is a Vikings fan, a couple of my friends are Viking fans. I don't know. I feel like the Vikings, especially with getting Stephon Diggs, I'm personally not a Cousins hater. I think that they've improved overall in this offseason by more than a little bit. So I personally think that the Vikings come into town and beat them. Now, in Week 15, they're at the Falcons. I'm not sure. I think that hear me out when I say this. The Falcons are kind of a dumpster fire right now, but they can win weirdly sometimes, and especially with Todd Gurley if he does well, and a couple other pieces. I think that they'll split with the Falcons. Now, again, this is completely subjective, but that is, I think that they'll win in Week 15, which is an away, or no, I'll say that they'll lose in Week 15 because it's an away game, and then Week 16 they have the Lions. They'll win against the Lions. I'm not afraid of the Lions at all. And then in Week 17 they lose to the Falcons because, like I said, they split. So that is win. So win or loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. So 10-6. That's my. I think that they'll probably go 10-6. Yeah, I had them losing to the Rams originally, but I think that they'll win against the Rams. Now, with them going 10-6, I have 7 teams here. So one more than the NFC playoffs that I personally think will do better. Now, I'm not going to go in depth with any of their schedules, but I think that the Saints go 12-4. I think that the Packers go 13-3 again. Their schedule is pretty easy, so I'm not. They do have some pretty difficult away games to start the season, but I think that at bare minimum, the Green Bay Packers go 11-5 this year, so that's not a big deal to me. I think that with relative confidence they can go 12-4 or 13-3. So Saints go 12-4, Green Bay goes 13-3. Seahawks have a couple difficult games. I think that they have the hardest schedule of any team that I have on here, but I put them as 12-4. Then we have the Eagles. I posted a video saying that I think the Eagles will go 11-5. So that's what I went with. And then the Cowboys. I think if they're competent, they could definitely go 12-4. Now, I don't know how much Mike McCarthy will improve the Cowboys' efficiency. He doesn't like to run the ball very much, which they need to do to win games. I don't think that you can rely on Dak as your the only guy who's the main guy who's playing to win and let Zeke just chill on the sidelines. It has to. I think in that system it has to be more run heavy, and I don't think Mike McCarthy will do that. But I think that there's a pretty strong chance that they can go 12-4. Then I have the Vikings going 10-6, so matching with Tampa Bay, but because I see them winning, I have them above Tampa Bay in the standings, or winning against Tampa Bay, that is. And then the 49ers, I could feasibly see them going 14-2 next year, but just to be realistic, I put them as 13-3, maybe 12-4 team. So that's one team from Tampa Bay's division and two teams from every other NFC division that I think could definitely make the playoffs above Tampa Bay. So, and I did this specifically. I wouldn't have included the Vikings, even though they have a better or an equal record, and originally I thought they would have a better record. I wouldn't have included the Vikings, except for the fact that I'm putting two from each division for a reason. I don't think that they'll even get a wild card spot. They're definitely not winning their division, but I think that probably the Saints, Cowboys, 49ers, and Packers all win their respective divisions, and then the wild card spots are the Seahawks and Eagles. That's what I think. I think it goes Niners and Green Bay are the 1 and 2 seed. The Saints and Cowboys are the 3 and 4 seed, and then Seahawks and Eagles are the 5 and 6 seed, respectively. And I think that the Vikings miss out by 1 game, and the Buccaneers miss out by 2. I mean, I know that that's subject to change, but I'm not confident in their ability to win. So this is just I'm no hardcore analyst. This took me maybe 30 minutes to put together all of this, just looking over the schedules of each respective team and giving a rough estimate of their win totals, and then same thing with the Buccaneers. But I think that it's rightful to be more tough on the Buccaneers as a team. I don't know. I can definitely see myself being wrong. I definitely could see them winning against the Vikings. I could definitely see them sweeping the Atlanta Falcons. I could definitely see them beating the Green Bay because, Green Bay won 13 games, but they did win messy. So that right there is a three game difference. That they go from 10-6 to 13-3 if they win those games. I don't think they will. So really, that's just my own view of it. If you have a different view, leave it down in the comments. I am interested to see what other people think. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If it made you think about something, leave that in the comments below. and I will see you later. Bye.